this is from the best of them, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn al-Qayyim used to say, كنت مع ابن تيمية وقتا طويلا حتى يفارقني بالموت ولا أقلده، لكن إذا بحثت عن الأمور وجدنا أن في الأغلبية أنه كان على الصواب، أو كما قال رحمه الله. Ibn al-Qayyim, he teaches us the point. He says, I stayed with Ibn Taymiyyah for a long time. He was his student for years and years and years and years. He said, until Allah decreed that he died. That's what separated us. I was with him for so long. You can imagine having a shade for years and years and years and years and years. And the only thing separated them, he died. Ibn Taymiyyah died, rahimahullah. He said, but I didn't blind follow him. He said, when I looked at the issues, when I did my own research of the issues, I found what? Most of the times, he was right. Most of the time, when I looked at the issue, if he said it, usually he was right. I didn't blind follow him. But when I looked it up, I found that usually he was right. What's one of the criticisms that some people say about Ibn Taymiyyah?
He didn't get married.
That he didn't get married. What about something about his character? That some scholars say if he was only a little bit more blank, lenient. He had a natural disposition. Some say that Umar ibn al-Khattab, that he was naturally just strong. He's trying to help you with your scarf and he's breaking your neck off. Just, I got you, ya akhi. I'm gonna fix it. Ya akhi, you're not touching my scarf yet. My ear, ya akhi. You see some of the Yemeni women, they're like that. They're strong women. She's just, mashallah, she's just strong. That happens. She grabbed that little baby, hey, Bismillah, hiya. And she, ut'imu had the walada. And she's feeding the baby, breaking his little neck off. She's just strong. That happens, ya Allah. So he was like that. That some scholars say if he was just a little bit more gentle. The people accepted his da'wah, but if he was just a little bit more kind. Just imagine, mashallah. That's one of the criticisms some people say about him. That sometimes, which is true, when you look at the narrations, he could have been a little bit more gentle. That happens, ya ikhwan. For example, what's an example, ya ikhwan? Like sometimes his speech could appear to be harsh, especially when he's defending the sunnah. He used to say about himself, rahimahullah ta'ala, if he says something about someone, mudafa'atan an sunnah, then if he says something against someone and he's defending the sunnah, then he doesn't feel remorse for that. But, because his reason. But if he says something against you personally, it was not from the religion, and I went overboard for that, I asked Allah that you antusamihani, that you pardon me. But if I said something, I'm defending the Messenger ﷺ, I don't have no regret for that. He was just, mashallah, he was just strong naturally. And he didn't mean no harm. Some people just have this way about them. And he was like that. Like Ibn Hazm. Similarly, he was just rough. But he has some speech that was a little... Ibn Hazm used to say sometimes in his speech, ya ikhwan, La yara hada illa safi. He would say, and no one would say that except a foolish person. But it'll be scholars who said that. You would, no, Sheikh, you can't say that. Scholars say that. But sometimes his speech will be a little harsh. And that happens, ya ikhwan. The scholars, we love the scholars, but they are human beings. Sometimes we nansa annahum min al-bashar. Sometimes we forget that these great imams are people. Mithalu al-Bukhari wa shaykhuhu. An example is Bukhari and his shaykh. واحد من علماء البخاري يغتار عن البخاري. There was a scholar from the teachers of Bukhari who, because Bukhari's name, the name Bukhari, you don't have to say Imam Bukhari, Muhammad ibn Ismail, just say Bukhari. Every country knows who you're talking about. You say Qala al-Bukhari, he's talking about Imam Bukhari automatically. There are other scholars from Bukhara, but he's just so famous that when he came to when he returned, when he returned back to his home, ismuhu wasala qabala dhatihi huwa. His name got there before he got there. When he was on his way back, The people heard, Bukhari's on his way, Bukhari's coming, Bukhari's coming. He didn't even get there yet. He's on his way. But some of his own teachers got jealous of him. There was a sheikh, we won't say his name, ya ikhwan, out of fear that somebody may misunderstand the point. Because this was wrong, that the sheikh did. This was wrong. وَبَدَأَ أَنْ يَتَكَلَّمَ فِي الْبُخَارِ. And he began to talk bad about Bukhari, one of his teachers. فالبخاري عندما أراد أن ينزل هذا الشيخ ما ذكره باسمه. So when Bukhari wanted to get back at this sheikh, are you talking about me? Okay, Bukhari was human. Somebody may say, hey, Bukhari did that? The great Bukhari? Yes. He's human, ya ikhwan. Sometimes we make error. So to get back at the sheikh that talked about Bukhari, when Bukhari wanted to quote him, he wouldn't mention his name, his popular name. He would mention him by another name that he wasn't so popular by. Like what Aisha used to do, عندما غضبت, when she got kind of vexed and angry, or I don't want to say annoyed, ya ikhwan, in her feelings, emotional, towards the Messenger ﷺ, when she wanted to, and يحلف بالله, when she wanted to swear by Allah, what would she say? She would say, وَرَبِّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And the Prophet would know, oh, you're being a little emotional. Even the great Aisha, sometimes we're offended. Your wife is mad at you. She says, hey, frosted flakes, no milk. He said, أظننت أنك طبختي شيئا. نعم هو في الصخن. I thought you made some dinner. Yes, I did. It's in the oven. It's only frosted. It's a box of frosted flakes. Yes, that's dinner. That happens, ya ikhwan. That happens. Sometimes the brothers, you call your wife's mom, hey, Assalamu alaikum, can you tell your daughter that she's right there? Great imams. One time this sheikh, كان الإمام مسلم رحمه الله تعالى يدرس عنده هو وعند البخاري. Muslim used to take from that sheikh who talked about Bukhari and from Bukhari. That was his sheikh, but Bukhari was his main sheikh. فهذا الشيخ الذي كان يتكلم في البخاري, the one who used to talk bad about Bukhari, who was his teacher, قام وقال من يدرس عندي والبخاري لا يدرس عندي بعد اليوم. The sheikh of Bukhari, who's also a sheikh of Muslim, remember Muslim and Bukhari has some of the same teachers. So this teacher said, whoever studies with me and Bukhari, don't come back and study with me no more. If you're going to study with Bukhari, don't study with me. So what did Muslim do? نظر يمينا وشمالا. Muslim looked right, looked left, grabbed his stuff, and left. Muslim said, oh yeah? You don't want nobody to study with you in Bukhari? Guess what? I'm not leaving Bukhari, that's my shaykh. And that happens, ya ikhwan. Why do we say this, ya ikhwan? Because sometimes even the Muslims, we forget that people get offended. A scholar makes a mistake and we no longer call him a shaykh. No. We keep the honor of this great shaykh and we correct that mistake. Alhamdulillah. It's like we forget that these great imams, there are people, ya ikhwan. How many times you find Abu Bakr يصحح عمر correcting Umar, وعمر يصحح Abu Bakr, and Umar correcting Abu Bakr? He didn't get offended. How many times you find Umar trying to يسابق ويسبق عن Abu Bakr? He's trying to outdo Abu Bakr, and it looks like Abu Bakr is not even in the race. Shu'aib is shooting his threes, 8, 9. I'm gonna make one, ya akhi. 27, 31. And then you're just sitting there. 1, mashallah. 2, Hamza comes. 3, and Shu'aib is trying, he's sweating, mashallah. He's taking off his imamah. I'm gonna make one. I got it. Hamza's not even playing the game. He's just shooting, making it, throwing it. Abu Bakr is not even in the competition. It looks like Umar is trying to compete with him. But Abu Bakr already did those good deeds. He did it already. The people wanted to go visit. One time the Messenger of Allah, he stood up. Man zara al-marid al-yawm. Who visited someone sick today? Rafa Abu Bakr yadahu. Abu Bakr raised his hand. Ana ya Rasulullah. No one else. Man itba'a janazatan al-yawm. Who followed a funeral procession al-yawm? Ana ya Rasulullah. Abu Bakr alone. I did, O Messenger of Allah. Man sama minkum al-yawm. Who from amongst you today is fasting? And Ya Rasul, Abu Bakr, he just, those good deeds was easy for him. Sometimes you come to the prayer, you think you're on time, and the first row is filled already. Prayed their raka'ah, read their half a juz of Quran, alhamdulillah, help someone else out. You're just sweating trying to get there. Today I'm going to be the first one at the masjid. As soon as you get there, it's already crowded. The sister's trying her best. Today I'm going to be Amatullah. Not today, I'm going to be there today. She gets there, Amatullah is already there. She done prayed her sunan. She done made her wudu. Her hands are still, mashallah, mabalula, are still wet from the wudu. She recited her Quran already. And then here comes Khadija, thinking she won. Abu Bakr, Allah blessed him to fulfill those actions of obedience easily. And sometimes it's like that, ya akhwan. So sometimes we forget that these blessed men, that they are men. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم العبادات تنقسم إلى قسمين. Next benefit. Worship is of two types. Worship is of two types. العبادات تنقسم إلى القسمين. Worship is of two types. If you break down worship, there are two types of worship. عبادة قولية. عبادة قولية. Worship in speech. عبادة قولية. Worship of speech. وعبادة عملية. عبادة عملية. And worship of action. Worship is of two types. عبادة قولية, verbal worship, or worship of one's action, one's statement. وعبادة عملية, one's actions. قال الشيخ صالح ليس ثم قسم ثالث. And he said there's not a third type in reality. Some scholars say three: statements, actions, and statements of the heart, or actions of the heart. That's still actions or statements. If you chop it down and chop it down and chop it down, you're going to come with two types: ibadatun qawliya, ibadatun amaliya. As-Salaam alaykum. We say, may the peace of Allah be upon you. Wa ibadatun amaliya, nusalli rak'atay al-masjid, like praying 2 rak'ah of entering the masjid, is something that you do with your body. He says, and it's not a third category. فهي إما أن تكون قولية أو إما أن تكون عملية. Either worship is one of two things. It's either that which you say or that which you do. It's either that which you say and that which you do. And that's why Ibn Taymiyyah says من الأقوال والأعمال. He didn't just make it up. It's not a verse that says that verbiage, that expression. لكن أخذ ابن تيمية هذا تعريفه من الآيات والحديث. However, Ibn Taymiyyah, he didn't just make this up. He looked at the Quran and Sunnah, he examined the Quran and Sunnah, and he took this meaning from ayat. He took this meaning from verses, from a hadith. That's why he says aqwal wal a'mal. Because because worship is of two types. Either that which you say or that which you do. That which you say or that which you do. قال قد يكون طيب بالنسبة إلى العبادات القولية, regarding worship of speech, قد يكون باللسان وقد يكون بالقلب. There are two types of speech. Two types of speech. You brothers that study Aqidah, you sisters that study Aqidah, write this down. There are two types of speech. Rami, write this down. Two types of speech. قول باللسان وقول بالقلب. Speech of the tongue and speech of the heart. When you say speech, it can be broken down into two types. Speech of the tongue, your tongue talks, and also your heart talks. No. قال والعبادات العملية, practical worship, عمل القلب وعمل الجوارح. And there are two types of actions, two types of statements, two types of actions. What's one type of statement? Of the tongue. Second part, actions of the heart. طيب. How much time we got here, ikhwan? Let's fast forward, inshallah ta'ala. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثلا, for example, al-ikhlas, sincerity. عمل من أعمال القلب. Sincerity is an action from the actions of the heart. والتوكل, another action of the heart, is al-tawakkul, placing your trust upon Allah. عمل من أعمال القلب is an action from the actions of the heart. قال الشيخ صالح لا يصح الإخلاص إلا لله. He says it's not correct that you have sincerity except to Allah. إخلاص العبادة, sincerity of your worship. قال التوكل كذلك من أعمال القلب التي ليست إلا لله. وهذا مهم. Write this down يا إخوان. Many Muslims